Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
Presented by CoinDCX, your gateway to crypto.
Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Exclusive conversation with State Bank of India chairman as the country's largest lender posts blockbuster results. Dinesh Khara says pent-up demand will keep growth momentum going. Stock markets end in the green after a choppy session. PSU banks drive gains after stellar quarterly results. Sensex up over 200 points, Nifty up 86 points. Rupee rallies 52 paise against the US dollar as the greenback trades low ahead of the US inflation figures. Rupee closes below 82 for the first time in a month. Tech giants around the world on a layoff spree, from Microsoft to Netflix, from Amazon to Meta. Economic slowdown forces all to cut costs by handing out pink slips. Cement companies raise prices in the south by up to 30 rupees a bag, hike on account of improved demand after the monsoon season. For the first time in 89 years, Tirupati Temple's total assets revealed by its management. It could be the 19th largest company on the Nifty 50 if listed. Last week, it posted record quarterly profits, and today, India's largest bank hit a new high in the stock markets. In fact, the inertia of SBI results was such that the entire PSU bank pack was a darling for investors. Business Today TV Managing Editor Siddharth Zarabi caught up with the Chairman of the State Bank of India, Dinesh Khara, on the coming months and challenges. Here's an excerpt from that conversation.
I want to begin by congratulating you on the numbers, because these numbers are absolutely stupendous. A quarterly net profit of 13,265 crore, 74% growth on a year-on-year basis. What led to this spectacular performance?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, of course, there are various contributing factors. The operating profit as well as net profit has come out very well, essentially on account of the core income stream. And there is hardly any exceptional item which has contributed to this kind of a growth. If we really look at it, we have seen that our credit has grown very well, and it is in all the segments, right from corporate to retail to SME and the agri. So actually, for the first time, perhaps the corporate credit, which is very, very highly competitive space, has grown faster than the retail credit. It has grown about 21%. And similarly, the retail has also grown very well. It has grown almost at about 20%. Apart from that, our book to the extent of 74% is linked to the variable rates, MCLR and the EBLR, and that has also helped us in generating a better income, interest income. So I think these are some of the contributing factors, and on the top of it, our credit quality being good has helped us in ensuring that we have the net NPA numbers are less than 1%. It is 0.80, and also we don't have any aging provision requirements. So that has also helped us in ensuring that our profit should be of that order. Even our international book has grown very well. So I think practically all the subsegments have performed very well. That is one of the reasons why we could register this kind of a growth.
Before I ask you a couple of more questions on the granular part of the results, I just want you to tell our viewers, do you expect this kind of stupendous growth to continue? Because 74% is the point that some people may want you to talk about is it going to be a one-off?
See, the point is that the base effect is one such factor, but I would say that the growth in the banking sector is also, it depends upon the real sector growth. So I think the kind of positivity which we have seen in the recent festival season in terms of demand, that actually augurs very well, and that gives us enough opportunities to lend. And I think with that, it may not be as far as the growth which we have seen, the credit growth, which is almost as high as about 20%. It may not be in that range, but we still expect that 14 to 16% kind of a credit growth looks to be a reality.
One of the key points that emerges from a reading of your latest numbers is the corporate performance that you just touched upon. Do you think the corporate part of the book will continue to drive this kind of growth? Because that is clearly linked to higher investments and hopefully better capex in the overall economy.
Well, of course, another very important component is the capacity utilization, which has improved almost to the extent of about 75%. Working capital limits which have been sanctioned have gone up, and also the availment has also gone up. So earlier it has gone up by almost about 5% on a YOY basis as far as availment is concerned. Working capital limit have also registered a decent growth. So and also the term loans, which are undisbursed term loans, that has come down, and new term loans have been sanctioned. So as I mentioned, that it is all a function of the economy and the demand in the economy. Since the demand has been encouraging, that is something which has led to this kind of a behavior in the corporate. And apart from that, the corporates used to borrow overseas market in the past, and now overseas interest rates have started moving up at a much rapid pace. And if we add on to the hedging cost to the loan rates there in overseas market, then perhaps the corporates can raise almost at similar kind of a interest rate in India. So I think that is the other reason why we are seeing a decent corporate growth also.
What about the expansion in net interest margins at around 32 basis points? Do you expect that also to continue at the same levels as the latest number?
Well, when it comes to net interest margin expansion, it is a function of the cost of deposit and the cost of our yield on advances. So since our book to the extent of about 74% is linked to the variable rates, whether it is MCLR or it is EBLR. So that is one of the reasons why we are in a position to pass on the interest rate increase to the borrowers. So I think we do expect that the NIM expansion should happen, but at 32 basis point or so will actually depend upon, since we are very mindful in terms of the quality of assets also which we want to book. So the competition for such quality assets, that is also one of the contributing factor. But yes, of course, NIM expansion should be should be a reality. But how much of that will be happening, I think we'll have to wait and watch.
Since you spoke about interest rates, it's my understanding that a complete pass-through has not happened. Perhaps the pace at which the rate hikes to your borrowers versus what is happening in terms of the repo rate. Do you see that also changing, or will it continue at the current trend?
No, I think it is happening, though it may be, when it comes to MCLR and EBLR, MCLR has gone up by about 90 basis point, though, and repo rate has gone up by about 190 basis point. So EBLR has, of course, EBLR is a direct pass-through. So 190 basis point it has gone up, but MCLR has gone up only by 90 basis point. So similarly on the deposit sides also, even the deposit rates have moved up. But though otherwise our cost of deposit has moved up just by about 4 basis point. But we are selectively increasing the deposit rates since we are having a sufficient liquidity in terms of our excess SLR. So that is helping us at this point of time to support the credit growth. But nevertheless, we are mindful of the fact that deposit is also, one has to look at it as, it's more like a franchise. So that is the reason why in the retail term deposit, we have from 7 months to about 12 months, we have already increased it by about 110 basis point, while the bulk term deposit rates have gone up by about 240 basis point. So that's how the situation is. So, but there are many dynamic factors. But nevertheless, I think it is moving in tandem. It may not be fully passed on, but it is moving in tandem with the policy rates.
Benchmark indices ended a choppy session with marginal gains, but the day belonged to state-owned banks, which rallied on strong results and better asset quality. State Bank of India surged to a lifetime high. Bank of Baroda also reported similar results and stock movement. The Nifty PSU Bank Index ended as the top sectoral gainer with a rise of over 4%. Overall, the Sensex was up 235 points at 61,185, while the Nifty gained 86 points. The gainers in the Nifty were led by Britannia, which had spectacular set of numbers. State Bank of India, Adani Enterprises, BPCL and Eicher Motors following suit. Laggards today, Divi's on the back of numbers down nearly 9%. Asian Paints, Cipla, Bajaj Finserv and Adani Ports, some of the others that were lagging in trade. The Global Health IPO, which closed today, has been subscribed 9.5 times. The company, which runs the Medanta hospitals around the country, is raising 2,200 crore rupees. The issue was subscribed 88% in the retail portion, 29 times in the QIB and 4 times in the NII portion. Meanwhile, Bikaji Foods, the other IPO which closed today, has been subscribed more than 26 times. The 880 crore rupee issue saw its retail portion being subscribed nearly 5 times. The response for the QIB portion was more enthusiastic. We take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at Bank of Baroda's earnings. Welcome back. Bank of Baroda shot up 8% in trade today after it announced a sharp improvement in asset quality. In its results over the weekend, the PSU bank slashed its provisions for the July to September quarter by 41%, led by higher recoveries. A robust growth in net interest income helped the bank to report a 59% year-on-year rise in net profit. Business Today TV's managing editor Siddharth Zarabi spoke to Bank of Baroda MD and CEO Sanjeev Chadha on these numbers. Listen in.
Can you take us through the record profits that you have delivered? What has contributed to this kind of performance? And can you give us some granular details?
Yeah. So I think there are normally four engines which can contribute to the performance of a bank. First is, of course, growth. The second is margins. The third is costs. And the fourth is asset quality. I think we are fortunate that all the four factors have come to bear in this particular quarter. Growth has been very robust. Our loan growth has been of the order of 19%. Within that, retail has grown by about 28%. But as a general proposition, when you grow aggressively, margins do tend to get compressed. But in this quarter, we have seen margins expand also because we have been keeping a tight discipline in terms of deposit costs in particular. The third part is costs. I think a number of banks, again, have had costs also increase in tandem. But for us, the increase in business has not been accompanied by either an increase in manpower or the increase in branches and the physical build. Instead, it has been enabled by digitalization. Bob World, which we launched about a year back, has been an outstanding success. Today, we have nearly 25 million customers on Bob World. So therefore, a lot of growth is coming through digital, where the marginal costs are lower. And last, and of course, the most important is that we have had a benign corporate credit cycle for the past few years. Even when COVID was with us, corporate credit costs were coming down and were outweighing the challenges in MSME and retail. Now that when COVID is behind us, you have both the improvement in the corporate credit cycle as also, again, a far better environment when it comes to MSME and retail loans. So I think all these four factors have come together to make sure that the results are fairly decent in this particular quarter for us.
It's important for us to point out to our viewers at this stage that if we talk about the net profit number for the quarter under review, 3,313 crore, that's up almost 59%. Do you expect this kind of growth to continue in the subsequent two quarters of the current financial year?
So I think this particular quarter was fairly okay for us last year also. So therefore, the fact that we have a 60% growth on top of that, I think that is one reason to, again, be hopeful going ahead. The second part is, I think we have benefited, banks have benefited from the fact that as a general proposition, when interest rates increase, there is a repricing gap between deposits and loans. Loans get repriced faster. So I would believe that that particular benefit should, again, would be available to banks for the next few quarters also. Third, again, if you see our growth, in corporate, our growth is still relatively muted at about 10%. So there's scope for us to up that. And also, as we go ahead, the MCLR will get repriced as deposit costs also go up. So therefore, again, corporate being about half our loan book, that should benefit from that. So yes, I think I'm fairly sanguine that as we go ahead, we should be able to sustain this kind of trend.
And here's what else is making news in the corporate world. India's largest air carrier, Indigo's 30 aircraft have been grounded due to supply chain disruption. The airline is evaluating wet leasing planes and other options to boost operations. The grounded aircraft account for 10 to 12% of the Indigo fleet. Industry leaders across Web3 verticals have unveiled the Bharat Web3 Association to enable and support the growth of India's Web3 ecosystem. Members of the BWA span multiple verticals including NFTs, Web3 gaming, infra providers, virtual digital assets and token projects. The association will focus on driving awareness through research, promoting dialogue between stakeholders and setting standardized principles in the industry. They'll also encourage and promote Web3 and blockchain innovation and nurture India's talent pool. Education platform Upgrad will invest 30 million to launch 10 global campuses next year. The company is planning to hire 1,000 PhDs as faculty for 10 new institutes globally. The campuses will be opened in the US, India, Singapore and West Asia. festive season has brought back cheer in the automobile numbers, with all categories in the green. FADA stated that the 2022 festive season turned out to be the best in the last 4 years. The sales have risen to pre-pandemic levels. Two-wheeler sales have increased 51%, with a shift happening toward EV cars. During the 42 days of festive period, total vehicle sales went up 28% year-on-year, with all categories, including two-wheelers, three-wheelers and passenger vehicles, as well as tractors and CVs, all seeing a significant uptick. Well, it's winter across the IT landscape, especially for employees, with some of the biggest tech players laying off thousands of people. While the focus the past couple of months in India has been on moonlighting and companies not honoring their job offers, big tech in the West has been downsizing like never before.
One of the greatest corporate showman, Elon Musk, has been hogging the limelight the past few months. His mega audacious takeover of Twitter capped by a swing of the axe, rendering thousands jobless overnight. In one sweep on Friday, Twitter had lightened its employee roster by more than half. While the world's richest man has been demonized in this entire process, a global slowdown is being blamed for unprecedented layoffs across big tech. Companies like Netflix, Microsoft, Snap, and others have downsized their workforce by thousands, while report claims that Meta, Amazon, and others have frozen hiring and are planning to hand pink slips to their employees. Despite being one of the pioneers when it comes to big tech, Microsoft is reeling under, has felt the blow of the economic downturn. The company laid off around 1,000 employees last month in what was the third round of downsizing at the company this year. Netflix has also felt the heat of rising inflation and the economic downturn despite meteoric growth in the past decade. The company has gone through two downsizing rounds, one in May and the other in June, letting go of at least 500 employees. Social media platform Snapchat has also let go of 20% of its employees, over 1,000 people in August this year. The company's CEO said the job cuts were necessary to ensure Snap's long-term success. Facebook's parent company Meta is reportedly preparing to slash jobs to cut costs. The company had frozen hiring earlier this year. Retail aggregator and tech giant Amazon will be slashing jobs across its healthcare divisions, Amazon Care, and will cut more than 150 jobs as it winds down its telehealth offering, as per regulatory filings in the US.
We recently reported that Microsoft laid off thousands of its employees. We're also keeping close track of the mass firings at Twitter, but it seems like times are tough for other FAANG companies like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, as well as other big tech companies like Snapchat, Stripe, Coinbase, etc. Many of these companies took up big-ticket loans that run in the billions to expand aggressively and capture a huge chunk of the market share. Now, because of the impending economic slowdown, they are unable to turn profitable or raise more capital. Hence, they are scaling back on non-productive or non-profitable operations. But are job cuts the right way to go? And will there be more job cuts in the future? Only time can tell. This was Akanksha Chaturvedi for Business Today TV.
It's one of the world's most well-known secrets, Tirupati Temple's untold wealth, thanks to the crores of rupees of donations it receives every day. But it's for the first time that the temple management has declared its net worth, which is more than 32 of the nifty constituents. Take a look.
It's one of the most visited temples in the country, revered by devotees across the world, transcending borders and artificial boundaries. It's also a temple with mythical riches, with tales of cellars filled with gold. But it's only now that the temple's true wealth has been revealed. According to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, the temple's management committee, the temple's net worth is over 2.5 lakh crore rupees or 30 billion US dollars. This includes 10.25 tons of gold deposits in banks, 2.5 tons of gold jewelry, 16,000 crore rupees in bank deposits, and 960 properties across India. All these assets have been gathered over the years, given as offerings to the temple by devotees. The Devasthanams were founded in 1933, and this is the first time that it has declared its net worth. The temple presented a 3,100 crore rupee annual budget for 2022-23 in February. It includes 668 crores as interest income. Importantly, an income of 1,000 crore rupees has been predicted in the form of cash offerings alone by about 2.5 crore devotees in the Hundi of the Hill Temple. The temple is also richer than most companies listed on stock exchanges. The temple's net worth of 2.5 lakh crore rupee is more than 32 Nifty 50 companies. This includes the likes of Sun Pharma, Wipro, Nestle, ONGC and Tata Motors. Just 18 of the Nifty's blue chips have a value more than the Tirupati temple.
There have been an obvious comparison to the Vatican City, which according to a University of Michigan study has a similar net worth of $30 billion. However, what both the estimates have failed to cover is the priceless artwork and the other antique jewelry held by both. It will probably be impossible to get the estimate of this value and the real value of religious assets. With Vijay Damodar, Abdul Bashir, Business Today.
And that's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks so much for watching.
Is Salman Khan's life in danger? Salman Khan and his father were sent threatening letters. It threatened to do a Moosewala, a reference to the singer who was murdered in Punjab earlier this year. Following this, the Mumbai police arrested multiple gangsters from Lawrence Bishnoi's gang, many of whom confessed to targeting Salman. Salman had been given regular police protection that got upgraded to Y+ security cover now. But what does that mean? Under the Y+ security cover, 5 personnel, a CRPF commander and 4 constables will be stationed at his residence. 6 personal security officers will be deployed with him on a rotational basis in 3 shifts. This means that 2 officers will be with him at all times. Investigations in Mumbai, Punjab and Delhi have uncovered in the last few months that gangsters Lawrence Bishnoi and Goldie Broad had planned to kill Salman Khan in Mumbai. Reports suggest that gangsters attempted twice, once outside his Bandra home during his birthday celebration in 2017 and once at his Panvel farmhouse in 2018. Even Anupam Kher was given security cover after he received threats following the release of his film The Kashmir Files. And Akshay Kumar was granted security based on social media threats over his nationality. Their security has also been upgraded to X category security. This is India's 5th critical security level and its protection cover comprises 2 security professionals, both of whom are armed police officers. It is offered to several people around the country by a single personal security officer.
Presented by धूल आए पर घर पे ना टिक पाए.
Watching India Today.
Hello, you're watching India Today. I'm Aishwarya Paliwal. Let's start the bulletin with the headlines. Supreme Court upholds 10% quota for economically weaker sections in 3:2 judgment.